say is just keep building on it. So we set the table for training camp, and everybody's in good spirits. But challenge is just to keep doing it day after day.
Mike, the addition of Chuck Smith as an outside linebacker coach, I just get a help with the pass rushing as you're starting to see his impact on some of these guys.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Chuck has a vision for how he wants to coach pass rush, and it's a partnership between him and Weave. And it's just been a great collaboration to this point. And, you see the buy-in from the guys, too, and the excitement, on a daily basis. And so that's where we're at right now in terms of the stage. So it's great to have the guys buy into the things that he's trying to coach them up to do. And it's a daily process to build on their moves and that sort of thing. So we're pleased where we're at right now. But, we got a ways to go to kind of mesh everything as put it all together.
Michael, besides Michael Pierce, how do you see players like Justin Maravika stepping up and more like a leadership role this year?
Well, yeah, it was just another year in the system. I think this is year 4 for Justin, and he's doing. He's been here every day. He works extremely hard. He's an extremely tough player, as you guys know. Very physical, but trying to encourage him to take his game to the next level, especially in the interior pass rush game. Taking charge, making some calls on how we want to apply our pass rush rules for that day. So, but all those guys are doing a great job. They're working hard. I think they work really well together, and I think you'll see it pay off in the fall.
Like, at this point, some of the pieces in the DB, we see Worley playing safety, Darius Washington moving around, Steven. Have you considered anyone there full time or what they are? And Worley is safety now, and Stevens. How do you define kind of their role?
Yeah, it's tough right now where we're at. It's great to say that we're interchangeable parts, and that is true. And like at the beginning part of the off season, we do teach everything conceptually, so the guys are just learning X's. But like as we get going into the fall, we're going to want to start to slot those things kind of more full time, so guys get used to playing next to guys that they're going to be in there in the game. So where we're at right now, Jeff, we'll see. I think there's some things that are definitely up for competition. Out there. I think the usual suspects out there, and we're just trying to really just kind of let them cook in there and get used to playing with one another.
I wanted to ask a broader question, if you let me. Talking to some of the Browns coaches, and they're just like really jacked, to get back to training camp because they're really, confident about their team and things like that. And I'm just curious, what's your personal energy when it comes to just the AFC North and your overall macro view on the growth and evolution of the quarterbacks in the AFC North, with Deshaun having a second year, Kenny Pickett, and Joe Burrow, who's about to break the bank? Yeah,
well, our first goal every year is to win the division. So those are the guys that we have to study in the offseason. We have to win those games. So I think if you look at our schedule, it's pretty front loaded in division games, which is a little bit unusual if I'm correct. So it's a huge challenge. There's obviously great quarterbacks. We've won some great battles. We've fallen short a few times, so hopefully we'll wind up on the right side of the coin this time. But
Mike, with Kyle, is it more game plan issue, like where you're going to use him off the back, all around?
Well, that's a strength of Kyle's game is he's so versatile. But there is at some point there is a trade-off. If he's never in the same spot for long enough, the question is does he get good enough at those things? So that's something we need to figure out before we get kicked off.
Hey, Mike, David Ojabo.
Can you guys, I'm assuming the microphone works, but I can barely hear myself talk.
When back in Michigan, when you first interacted with David, he was still kind of young because of the game of football. What were your first impressions on him then, and how have you seen him mature over the years as well?
Man, when we first got there, we just wanted a quick sample of who was on the roster and what they could do. And he hadn't played up until, when we showed up, and we just saw this big, tall guy that runs like a 4.4. We're like, why is he not rushing the passer? So it was pretty easy. It was a pretty easy decision to make. And, I think about your question, Jameson. It's just like I remember just a lot of enthusiasm and energy and positivity. And I think he really, really wants to be good. And so when you have that and you have that mentality and you have that attitude, that's something that he's brought here, and it's exciting to work with a guy like that. So I think you've seen his trajectory up to this point, and hopefully he'll continue.
Like what you've seen
run defending wise from Adafe?
You say it one more time.
Have you liked what you've seen run defending wise from Adafe, Dabo? I guess you just one day of ties, but you like the kind of extra you've been getting.
Well, that's definitely going to be a challenge for us. You know, I mean, in terms of setting the standard on how we want to play the run here. But right now, it's just it's impossible to evaluate because of the tempo, and really like when we're playing blocks, we're really practicing the fit and the technique instead of like beating the block just because of the tempo and the requirements. So right now, I just can't answer it. But that's going to be a challenge for our whole defense moving forward. 'Cause if you can't dictate the run and force them into passing situations, you're going to have a tough time on defense.
How's Tavius Robinson progressing? I mean, we've seen him out there for some reps with some of the starters. I mean, how's he doing?
Yeah, he's doing a great job. I mean, his mentality's great, plays fast, but like I was saying, I mean, it's hard to evaluate until the pads come on, you know. So right now, it's how you do it with the speed and he's assignment sound, so that's good. But the things that we're drafting him to do, I think we're going to be able to evaluate that better in the fall.
Mike, you coach the guys you have right now. Between now and the start of training camp, are you involved in the conversation of supplementing the roster, what your needs may be? How does that play?
If Eric or John wants my opinion, they'll come to me. You know, and I think it's an ongoing conversation within the building of directions we want to go in all aspects. You know, but I'm not initiating any of those conversations now.
Like different kind of motion it looks like on offense here, some of the short motion stuff that Tom Munkins installed. Obviously, there was plenty of motion for a snap to T-row. I guess, do you feel like all that stuff you're kind of seeing in minicamp and OTAs is useful for just getting this defense ready for what you're going to see come regular season?
Yeah, they're doing a lot of great things on offense, and we want to see the more the merrier on stuff that we see. So we have to be able to defend everything. Sometimes some people, subscribe to the theory of like they want to know what the offense is running so they can kind of make sure they get the right call. You can see all the things and all the different kind of concepts you're going to be in. I kind of go the opposite. I just want to be out there and we have to respond to what the offense is doing because that's as game-like as it gets. So they're doing a great job, but they're doing a lot of things too and giving us some things we need to talk about and make sure our scheme is sound and simple so the guys can go play.
Not having Calais here anymore, who have you seen kind of step up and start to fill that leadership void in the room?
The leadership void, I mean, I would say it's more within the room. You see guys like Brody and Justin and Mike Pierce, being back and being healthy. I mean, in the defensive line room. So I just want I want to encourage guys to just be themselves, and lead in their own way. Calais was obviously, we love him and he led in his own way, but it's this team now. It's these guys' opportunities, so I encourage them to just kind of be themselves.
Mike, maybe it's a little premature to ask, but have you guys decided on who's going to be wearing the green dot this year?
Yeah, I'll be Rowe.